Hey everybody. Looks like we got one in here. I'll do my typical blabbing to give more people time to get in here. Although at this point, people might be sick and tired of hearing about all things John Cusack, and I get that. Uh, this has been a three-parter. This is the final part of the For Love of John Cusack string. I also want to remind everybody um, that instead of doing my own watch along for Leprechaun on Saturday, I am going to be joining the Dead Pit Boys tomorrow night, I believe. Hey, Texas. I believe starting at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. It's going to be the Dead Pit Boys and me and some more of the Dead Pit faithful, according to CK. Um, so I think it's going to be pretty much the Dead Pit community at large. So you probably see several regulars from their other streams where they open it up to the Dead Pit community. Um, I'm hoping that Curly Jaw sees at least one of the streams where I talk about a little change in my plans. Um, of course, I'm sure Curly Jaws will be in there tomorrow night. He's not going to miss a Leprechaun watch along with the Dead Pit Boys and stuff. I don't think he would unless he might be working or something like that. So, which means I won't be doing Leprechaun because I thought, well, I'll just hang out with the boys and have a good time and do that, and then I'll just do after midnight for Saturday. So, hey, Blissful, I will be having after midnight as my watch along for Saturday, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, unless Steve tells me, surprises me and tells me he is doing a watch along. And I do apologize. I made another pot of vegetable soup. So I am eating that as as I do this first part of the stream. Um, I am also, I don't know if Rob and Kelly will be in here tonight at some point. But if, hopefully, if Kelly listens to this, because I know she really wanted to join me on a Hitchcock stream where we break down all the Hitchcock movies. That one, it could be more than one part, possibly. Blissful, you say never apologize for soup. Yeah, I guess I shouldn't. Soup is a huge comfort food for me. Steve doesn't care for soup. He likes chili, but not soup. I know I've mentioned that several times. I just think it's odd that he doesn't like soups. But there may be other of you guys that come into my streams that don't care for soup. And I am drinking a little bit tonight. I'm planning on this being my only one. You say no, soup is good food. Well, I'm glad you feel that way, Texas. And I'm glad that several people, Blissful and you and hey, Kane. Is it okay if I just call you Kane for short? You say tomato and basil rock show. I like tomato and basil as well. I'm a fan of many types of soups. As I said, they're a comfort food for me, and also when I'm not feeling so well, they make me feel a little better. Unless, of course, I got stomach flu, in which case nothing's gonna make me feel better till I'm over it. um, So we did have 5 in here, but I guess a couple dropped out. So um, we're going to go ahead and get started here in a second with the last part of the John Cusack movies. Kane, you say, sure, whatever, that's fine. Dip Hit brought me here. Saw you live. Thought I'd swing by, say hi. Have I missed Better Off Dead? Actually, I believe I talked about Better Off Dead for the first part, but it is up on my channel, Kane. So if you would like to watch that, I mean, of course, it won't be live, but you would still get to hear me talk about Better Off Dead. We're in the home stretch of the John Cusack movies right now, but I'm glad that you stopped by, and I hope you come to more streams. I always like getting new people. You say you'll go back and check that out. Thank you. Sure, anytime. So, I'm thinking you're talking about 1408. Yeah, I like that one as well. So we're gonna get started with a movie called Reclaim, because I think Love and Mercy from 2014 was the one I left off with. At least I hope so. Um, Reclaim. This one didn't get real high ratings on IMDb. It only got a 5.2. So let's take a look at who else is in here. Ryan Felipe or how you pronounce it is on this. Louis Guzman. See if there's any. Not really. So a little bit of a plot synopsis on this, because I have not. This is another one I haven't seen. Chicago artist couple Stephen and Shannon travel to Puerto Rico to complete the adoption of Haiti earthquake orphan Nina. They start bonding in a hotel and later resort, waiting for the travel documents. But the trauma of a car accident rendering her infertile is rekindled by their weird neighbors, headed by NGO veteran Benjamin and feisty henchman Sallow, who picks an even weirder bar fight to beat up stage drunk Stephen. Shortly after, Nina disappears, and the San Juan police superintendent concludes it's a scam by a fake adoption agency. While the couple keeps looking desperately for Cahoot Nina, this is another one of those weird plot synopses that, like the Everyman, I guess, put on here. Benjamin prepares an even crueler chapter, and which bodes ill for all adults. Now, I guess, the official plot synopsis is a desperate American couple discover all is not what it seems when they uncover a high stakes underground scam while traveling abroad. To expose the truth and get back to the U.S., they must risk their lives to save their daughter. And that sounds quite a bit better and clearer and all of that. And John Cusack plays Benjamin in the film. So, I don't know. This one might be okay, but again, just based on that little plot synopsis, I'm not chomping at the bit really to go to find it and watch it. Which moves us to Wall Street, where John Cusack plays a character named Ted. This was a TV movie from 2014. Maggie Grace is also in this. Jody Lynn O'Keefe, AJ Buckley, David Morse. That's about it for people I know on there. Um, Plot synopsis for this one. Well, they don't have an official plot synopsis. Let's see if anybody has. Yeah, nobody's really written a plot for it either. And I don't think nobody's reviewed it or anything. I don't know. I don't really know. It's a drama. That's about all I know about it. Let me see if I can find another way to find a little more information on it, because I really like to be able to give you something. Um, Not the Wolf of Wall Street. Well, let's see. This site says John Cusack to appear in his Wall Street drama pilot at CBS. John Cusack will guest star in his CBS untitled Wall Street drama pilot set in the world of Wall Street power and money. The project centers on Jackson, played by Charlie Cox, a smart, sophisticated hedge fund trader. Cusack will play Ted, a cynical former Wall Street trader who left the business. The pilot will be directed by Niels Arden Oplev from a script by Taylor Elmore and Ben Cavell, based on a story the two co-wrote with Cusack and Kevin McCabe. CBS TV Studios is producing. Cusack is the latest actor to appear in a pilot they executive produced this season. Kevin Hart has a recurring role in his untitled ABC. Oh, okay. That's going into something else. But that's about. Yeah, this is like things that were written before this even came out. John Cusack, the guest star in CBS's Wall Street drama. And it's from Justified writers Taylor Elmore and Ben Cavell. But not a lot of information on that one. Sorry, I can't tried, but can't provide very much in it. Can you say it's midnight here in the UK, so it's nice to catch you live. 1408, of course. Sorry, please continue. Oh no, that's perfectly fine. Texas, you say I've seen this one. You're talking about Reclaim. I would assume Cusack is a psycho in this. I don't know how I feel about watching John Cusack as a psycho. I've seen Ted Raimi play a psycho. I've seen several, beloved actors play, psychotic characters. I've seen Tony Danza play an evil character. I've seen John Ritter play really, abusive characters. I think he was in a movie. He was in a movie where he beat up on his wife, but he was also, I think, in a movie where he was slowly poisoning his wife, and he had poisoned his previous wife. And I think one of them almost dies. I think it might be the second wife. I can't remember what the movie is, but I do remember watching it. Which brings us to 2015's Dragon Blade, in which John Cusack plays a character named Lucius. And this looks like a Um, Kind of like a fantasy movie. It's supposed to take place in Roman times. When a corrupt Roman leader, Tiberius, arrives with a giant army to claim the Silk Road, who all and teams up his army with an elite legion of defected Roman soldiers led by General Lucius to protect his country and his new friends. Jackie Chan's also in this, and so is Adrian Brody. And Adrian Brody plays Tiberius in this. Um, Not really seeing a lot of other people that I know. Um, this is funny. There's some trivia here. Jackie Chan complained politely about the sword skills of John Cusack. He needed a little more work. Mel Gibson was rumored to have been offered the role of General Lucius. This is John Cusack's first Chinese movie. The tune for the song "Song for Peace," performed by Jackie Chan and composed by Henry Lay, was or Lai, however you pronounce it, was influenced by the Irish traditional song "Spancel Hill." This was the seventh movie with the word dragon in the title for Jackie Chan, the others being Dragon Fist, Dragon Lord, Harv Dragon, Dragons Forever, Twin Dragons, and Traces of a Dragon. John Cusack and Adrian Brody appeared in the Thin Red Line. This was Adrian Brody's second Chinese movie appearance, the first being back to 1942. So, again, this is not one that I have seen. Perhaps some of you in the chat have seen it. It might be interesting. Um, it doesn't appear that John Cusack plays an unsavory character in this one. Which brings us to 2015's Hot Tub Time Machine 2, in which John Cusack reprises his role of Adam only in the unrated version, and he's uncredited. Um, I think I only saw the first Hot Tub Time Machine. I don't believe I saw this one. So when Lou's shot in the groin, Nick and Jacob drag him into the hot tub time machine to go back in time and save Lou. The three end up 10 years in the future where they need to go find the shooter. Chevy Chase is in this. As I said, John Cusack reprises his role as Adam, but he is uncredited, and he's also only shown in the unrated version. Lisa Loeb is also in this, playing herself. A little bit of trivia about this one. The film's budget is significantly lower than the first film due to John Cusack's absence, who had a larger salary than his former co-stars. Despite the smaller $14 million budget, the movie still lost money, earning only $13 million worldwide. The movie was originally going to be titled Hot Tub Time Machine 3 as a joke about time travel, but the studio would not allow that, claiming it would be too confusing. When Lou tries to hit Chevy Chase with a golf putter when they first arrive in the future, Chevy says, "No, no, 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 no," like he did in Caddyshack, which, as they say, that is a reference to Caddyshack. The tattoo on Lou's arm says Motley Lou, a reference to the first film in which Lou joins and renames the rock band Motley Crue. But not a whole lot about Hot Tub Time Machine 2. And this only got a 5.0 rating. I think, based on pretty much the absence of John Cusack, probably won't be rushing out to watch that one anytime soon. Blissful, you say, Dana, I'll trade you meatloaf for a bowl of soup. Well, I like meatloaf, Blissful, and if you made it, I'm sure it's delicious, but oh man, I don't know. I think I'll have to hang on to my soup. Blissful, you say you haven't seen this one. Casey, you say that one looks pretty good. Kane, you say, I never even knew it got a sequel. Sounds dodgy, though. Lisa Loeb, awesome. Jack Frost soundtrack, yo. Which brings us to Chi-Raq, where John Cusack, and this is, by the way, another 2015 movie. And John Cusack plays Father Mike Corden in this one. This is a modern day adaptation of the ancient Greek play Lysistrata by Aristophanes, and I'm probably massacring these names, set against the backdrop of gang violence in Chicago, Illinois. That sounds interesting. This was directed by Spike Lee. Nick Cannon's in this, Wesley Snipes, Angela Bassett, of course, John Cusack, Samuel L. Jackson, Jennifer Hudson, David Patrick Kelly, Dave Chappelle. So a lot of pretty big names in this one. This one got a 5.9, so it's a little bit further up there than some of these I've been talking about tonight. Here's a little bit of more of a storyline on this. After the shooting death of a child hit by a stray bullet, a group of women led by Lysistrata organized against the ongoing violence in Chicago's South Side, creating a movement that challenges the nature of race, sex, and violence in America and around the world. This is the first, supposedly the first original film to be released by Amazon Studios. This is Dave Chappelle's first role in a movie since Undercover Brother in 2002. Okay, it's actually pronounced Chirac. The title is a portmanteau of Iraq and Chicago, used by Southside Chicago residents to refer to the area, comparing it to a war zone due to its high crime rates. The first film Angela Bassett and Spike Lee have worked on together since Malcolm X in 1992. The tattoos that Nick Cannon has are real. He had them before they started filming. John Cusack's character is based on Father Michael Flager, a Roman Catholic priest of the Archdiocese of Chicago and a social activist. The funeral scene takes place in Father Flager's church, St. Sabina, in Chicago's Auburn Gresham neighborhood. Father Flager also makes a cameo as himself in the film. One of two 2016's releases starring Samuel L. Jackson and John Cusack with the other film being Cell. They also appeared in 1408. Dave Chappelle and John Cusack previously appeared in Con Air. So that is another one that I have not seen, but it sounds pretty intriguing to me. Texas, you say, I've seen this one. I liked it a lot. David Patrick Kelly's character is so ridiculous. I like this. I wanted to share this quote too with you that John Cusack's character, Father Mike Corridon, says, "Yellow police tape, teddy bears, T-shirts, balloons. These are the national memorials of our neighborhoods, and it doesn't look good." There's another quote by his character. "I'm going to talk about a life today, an important life in our community, a life that ends life, the life of a gun." So these are some really good quotes, I think. He also said, "We go from third rate schools to first class high tech prisons. The question remains, can your plan save us from us?" And the final one, "Guns have become part of America's wardrobe." And I think that's probably more true now, that quote about guns, than it was in 2015. Which brings us to another Stephen King adaptation, Cell, in which John Cusack plays Clay Riddle. Okay, so I remember reading the book because I've read, just about all of Stephen King's books, and I don't keep up on them quite as well as I used to. I used to read them ravenously. As soon as one came out, I was almost halfway finished with it. That's how quickly I read them. Um, but life gets in the way and stuff. And I liked the sale. I liked Sale. It was probably not one of Stephen King's strongest books. But not a bad book. But the movie, honestly, even with John Cusack and Samuel L. Jackson in it, did not hold quite the same appeal for me that Stephen King's book did. So, basic plot synopsis: when a mysterious cell phone signal causes apocalyptic chaos, an artist is determined to reunite with his young son in New England. So, as I said, we have John Cusack, Samuel L. Jackson, Stacy Keach, and yeah, that's about that's about it for well-known names. But I don't want anybody to think that this is not worth watching. I wouldn't go that far. It only got a 4.4 on IMDb, but I would probably rate it up quite a bit higher than that. A little trivia for you on this. In the scene where Clay Riddle, John Cusack, sits on his son's bed, he faces a painting of a ship on stormy waters hanging on the wall. It's the same infamous painting which hung on the wall of Cusack's hotel room in Stephen King's 1408. Stephen King announced in 2009 that he had written a screenplay for the movie and had created a new ending based on reader complaints about the book's ending. Among many differences from the source material, in the book, the zombie-like infected continue to have their brains rewritten every night and evolve further psychic abilities, including telekinesis, which allows them to fly. This is explained as the infection having unlocked the human brain's latent supernatural potential. This idea is only vaguely alluded to in the film when the survivors of the boys' school explain that the human brain is like a computer and that this could be the next stage in human evolution. In the opening airport scene, the flight to Manchester, New Hampshire, is changed to Gate A6. A6 is the lethal virus strain from the Stephen King novel The Stand. In the opening scene at the airport, you can hear on the intercom, Flight 1408 to Los Angeles. This is a reference to the Stephen King short story and movie 1408. Early December 2015, nearly 2 years after the film completed filming, John Cusack was asked for an update on when the film would be released, or if there was a trailer coming anytime soon on Twitter, to which he replied, "Me and Stephen King got cut out of that one. Cannot vouch for it. Don't know what's up with it." Nevertheless, about a month after Saban Films acquired the distribution rights, a trailer finally appeared on April 26, 2016 to mixed reception. This makes the second Stephen King movie for the duo of John Cusack and Samuel L. Jackson, the first being 1408. It also makes John Cusack's third Stephen King movie, the first being Stand By Me. Eli Roth was going to write and direct the adaptation, but dropped out due to creative differences. And I remember when they were talking about that, actually. When he was cast to play Tom McCord, Samuel L. Jackson was unaware that his character was gay. During an interview with Playboy years before, Samuel told the magazine that he would never kiss another guy or cross-dress for any role, no matter how large the paycheck. And he stuck to his word by refusing to make out with another man in this film. This is the seventh film in which John Cusack plays an author, the others being Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil, Martian Child, 1408, 2012, The Raven, and Adult World. In the airport scene, a businessman mentions that his pool cleaner has gone rogue. This is an in-joke about one of the supernatural events in Paranormal Activity 2 from 2010, which was also directed by Todd Williams. Lloyd Kaufman, the co-founder of Troma Entertainment and director of films like The Toxic Avenger and Romeo and Juliet, is in the opening airport scene as the bystander in a blue Hawaiian shirt. So, if it's a first time watch for you, or you didn't see Lloyd Kaufman the first time around and you go back and rewatch it, keep an eye out for him. There is a reference to Cashwalk being in the unincorporated area called TR90. This is a reference to Stephen King's novel Bag of Bones. So that is Cell. And honestly, to be fair to the movie, I would like to go back and rewatch it. Texas, you say it was decent. It's not an Oscar winner, but it's worth a watch. Blissful, you say, how did I miss this one? Texas, you say, Isabel Furman from Orphan is in it. Yeah, I'd forgotten about that. Totally forgot about that. So that brings us to 2017's Arsenal, in which John Cusack plays a character named Sal, which this one only got a 4.0 rating, sadly. So we have Nicolas Cage, John Cusack. Do we have anybody else here? Doesn't really look like it. So what's the plot synopsis for this one? A southern mobster attempts to rescue his kidnapped brother. That is your basic plot. It appears that John Cusack has a pretty big part in it. So this is listed as a powerful action thriller Arsenal tells the intertwining stories of the Lindell brothers, Mikey and JP, who had only each other to rely on growing up. As adults, JP found success as the owner of a construction company, while Mikey became a small time mobster, mired in a life of petty crime. When Mikey is kidnapped and held for ransom by ruthless crime boss Eddie King, played by Nicolas Cage, JP turns to the brothers' old pal Sal, played by John Cusack, a plainclothes detective, for help. In order to rescue his brother, JP must risk everything and unleash his vengeance against King's relentless army of gangsters. So, a little bit of trivia here. Eddie King's older brother, Buddy, is played by Christopher Coppola. Christopher Coppola is, in fact, the older brother of Nicolas Cage, born Nicholas Kim Coppola. This is the fourth collaboration for Nicolas Cage and John Cusack after appearing in The Frozen Ground, Adaptation, and Con Air. The film unites the two lead actors from the 8mm franchise. Nicolas Cage starred in 8mm, and Jonathan Shake was in 8mm too. Which then brings us to 2017's Blood Money, in which John Cusack plays a character named Miller. So this is directed by Lucky McKee. That's a name I hadn't heard for a while. John Cusack's in this, and that's about it for people that I know. So, what is this movie about? Three friends go rafting in the wilderness. Bags are dropped from a plane, followed by a man in a parachute. The three find the bags with $8 million. The couple wants it, and Victor splits, wanting to stay alive out of prison. This one actually sounds interesting to me, and it looks like John Cusack has a pretty interesting role in this. But sadly, it only got a 4.5 rating. This is supposed to be a modern retelling of Treasure of the Sierra Madre. A little trivia. Well, actually, one item of trivia. The line, "You're just a terrible, terrible person," was ad-libbed by John Cusack. He meant it as a joke without knowing he was still being recorded. Okay. You said, Blizzard, you said that's a great name. Texas, you said the next few I haven't seen. Didn't Lucky McKee direct The Woman and the other two movies in the trilogy? Also, May. Now I know he did May. I'm not sure about The Woman, actually, but I'm not going to say you're not right, because you may very well be right. Blissful says, Texas, we need to watch them. Which brings us to Singularity, in which, and this one was from 2017 as well, in which John Cusack plays Elias Van Dorn. And he's featured on the front, or on the poster. Earth 2020, 3/4 of its households have a robot. The AI supercomputer Kronos considers humans the biggest threat to Earth. A century later, few humans are left. Kalia seeks the last human stronghold, as does Kronos. This one only got a 3.6. This is listed as an action adventure drama. Anybody other than John Cusack that I'm familiar with? It doesn't look like it. So, a little bit more expanded plot. In 2020, Elias Van Dorn, John Cusack's character, CEO of VA Industries, the world's largest robotics company, introduces his most powerful invention, Kronos, a supercomputer designed to end all wars. When Kronos goes online, it quickly determines that mankind itself is the biggest threat to world peace and launches a worldwide robot attack to rid the world of the infection of man. 97 years later, a small band of humans remain alive but on the run from the robot army. A teenage boy, Andrew, and a teenage girl, Kalia, form an unlikely alliance to reach a new world where it is rumored mankind exists without fear of robot persecution. But does this world actually exist? And will they live long enough to find out? So there you have it. Singularity. Yeah, all I know about it is what I just read to you guys. I had not heard of this one. Which brings us to Distorted from 2018, in which Cusack plays Vernon Sarsfield. I have not seen this one either, but it also has Christina Ricci in it. A couple moves to an isolated, modern, safe apartment building with closed circuit TV after the wife has problems with nightmares. However, something's not quite right with the building. And that, in and of itself, seems intriguing to me. This one got a 4.5 on IMDb. So Christina Ricci, John Cusack, um, mm, yeah, not really seeing any other noticeable names. So, a little bit more expanded plot line. A 32-year-old woman suffering from bipolar disorder comes to suspect the proprietor of the state of the art smart apartment she and her husband just moved into is using the building's residents as unwitting guinea pigs for a synthetic telepathy brainwashing plot with dire global ramifications. Um, this sounds intriguing to me and kind of creepy and all that. Um, So I could very well see myself seeking this one out. It does spoof a Clockwork Orange, evidently. Uh, for those of you that are interested, it was originally titled Distortion. The script was changed to accommodate several locations that were found for use in this movie. The scene at the Orion Hotel at the end of the movie was an actual abandoned winery hotel found by the location manager and crew. At the end of the movie, the acronym TTIOT on Vernon's headstone stands for The Truth is Out There. Despite top billing as part of the cast, John Cusack fans might be interested in this. John Cusack doesn't appear until 42 minutes into the film. So you're definitely not going to see John Cusack at the beginning of the film. Which brings us to 2018's River Runs Red, in which John Cusack plays Horace. Again, he's featured on the poster. So, when the son of an African American judge is murdered in a routine pullover gone wrong, Judge Charles Coleman takes the law into his own hands to ensure justice is had when the two cops walk free. Um, so, Ty Diggs, John Cusack, George Lopez. Anybody else? Doesn't look like it. Um, So, a little more of an expanded plot. When the son of a successful judge, Ty Diggs, is killed by two police officers, and the system sets him free, a hardened veteran detective, played by John Cusack, finds some incriminating files on the officers, and the judge teams up with another mourning father, George Lopez, to take the law into his own hands. Um, let's see. Do we have any? Don't really have any trivia for it, but Louisville, Kentucky is mentioned like in a tag, so I don't know um, if something. Oh, they filmed part of it in Louisville, Kentucky, evidently. That's interesting. I had no clue. So they may have very well, maybe John Cusack was in Louisville. I'd already moved to Louisville by the time this movie was being made. It's interesting. They filmed both in Louisville, Kentucky and Portland, Oregon. This one only got a 4.4. But I might like to see it not only for John Cusack, but to see what locations they filmed in Louisville. Blissful says, Texas, our movie list is becoming a novel. And Texas agrees. Texas used to have one to see Distorted for a while. It sounds like one that I could see myself watching. Which brings us to 2019's Never Grow Old, in which John Cusack plays Dutch Albert. This looks like a Western to me. My mouse is kind of acting up again. Okay. I'm just going to turn off the Bluetooth on it, but let's see. An Irish undertaker profits when outlaws take over a peaceful American frontier town, but his family comes under threat as the death toll rises. So who else is in this? Emile Hirsch, as I said, John Cusack. And it looks like that's about it. This one, the rating was a 6.0, so this is quite a bit higher than some of the other movies I've been talking about tonight. A little bit more of an expanded plot. A once peaceful frontier town becomes a den of vice after vicious outlaw Dutch Albert and his gang arrive and begin gunning down their opposition. So, Dutch Albert, John Cusack's character, is not a very good person. Undertaker Patrick Tate must now choose between the blood money he makes burying the murderers, victims, and the threats he and his family face as the death toll continues to rise. So that one might be, even though I don't really relish the thought of watching John Cusack play bad, evil characters, but so I'm not going to talk about Utopia because that was a TV series, which brings us to the last movie, which evidently was released last year, Pursuit, in which John Cusack plays a character named Jack Calloway. So Detective Breslin crosses paths with Calloway, a ruthless hiker who's trying to save his kidnapped wife from a drug cartel. When Calloway escapes from police custody, Breslin joins forces with a no-nonsense cop to reclaim his prisoner. So let's see. Emil Hirsch is again in this. William Catt is in this. Andrew Stevens. That's about it. This, I believe this is the lowest rating of any of these movies that I've talked about tonight. A 2.8. So evidently people that were rating this on IMDb did not like this film. This is listed as an action drama horror. It doesn't really appear to be a horror movie to me in the traditional sense. But I'm not saying that I would never watch it. But just looking at John Cusack, this is probably, and of course he is the oldest he's ever been. This is the oldest I've seen John Cusack look. And it's kind of shocking to me. I guess mainly because I missed a lot of these movies that I've been talking about, especially the ones in the last few years. Blissful, you say so many I haven't seen. Yeah, that it was exactly my feelings going through this list. And I always like to talk about what a huge John Cusack fan, and I've only seen a handful of his movies, really. Texas, you say I haven't seen a lot of the latest ones. Texas, you say Utopia was supposed to be really good, and then Amazon was supposed to renew it and then cancel it. You say that one sounds and looks a bit ridiculous. Yeah, it kind of does. So, guys, we have officially, I'll probably stay on here till about 9 or so, just so I'm on here at least an hour. But that completes the For Love of John Cusack streams. And I know we didn't have too awfully many in here tonight. But I don't know what's going on tonight, who's doing what, or what kind of wrestling might be on tonight, and or anything else. Plus, people might just be bored of me talking about John Cusack, and I didn't go on quite as long with this one because there weren't as many movies to cover as I did the previous nights. Bliss, will you say you go by Texas's recommendations, LOL? Well, I think that's probably not a bad idea because Texas really seems to be on the level with the stuff that he likes and then the stuff that he doesn't like. So yeah, I would definitely say keep going by his recommendations. Definitely don't go by a lot of my recommendations because everybody knows Dana's track record. So yeah, between Texas and TJ, I love it when both of those guys are in here. When Texas is in here, when TJ is in here, because I don't think they make me look in a bad light. They make me look better because, like, when Texas was on here with me doing some of the streams early on, if I would forget something, he would always remember it or know it. And TJ's the same way. I figured that's what you meant, Texas. You'd be right back. Um, so I won't leave till sometime after you get back, Texas. I promise. So I will ask for those few that are in here. Um, are there any actors or actresses that you would like to see me cover? They don't have to be horror actors and actresses. Um, or they don't have to have all been in horror movies. Um, yeah, definitely don't correct yourself. Yeah, you're probably going to get some medicine if your shoulder's hurting. I would definitely say go get you some medication. I definitely don't want anybody to be in pain. Sorry, guys, I'm finishing up my soup. But if anybody wants to give suggestions on any actors or actresses they'd like me to see me do streams on and do a breakdown of their movies, I'd be glad to take any and all into consideration. And I, like I said, I was hoping that Kelly and Rob would be in here tonight because I was going to bring up the fact that I think I'll do the Hitchcock stream on Monday, and um, I've added her as a friend on Facebook, so I may just ask her if she would be interested in doing it on Monday, uh, doing that stream on Monday about Hitchcock. So I'm really planning on doing that. So you guys can look forward to that on Monday. Um, for those of you that are planning on stopping by Dead Pit to see the Leprechaun watch along, I will be on there, barring anything happening. Um, as well as doing my own watch along for After Midnight, which is a horror anthology film. And Blissful, I see you say you're excited about the Hitchcock stream. I am too, actually. I have never done one of those. I mean, I've talked about Psycho and stuff like that, but never done an actual Hitchcock stream. So yeah, I'm excited. Excuse me, excited about it. And it doesn't just have to be Kelly and me. If some of you other ladies and gentlemen want to join in, I would love to have you live on the stream. So think about that, because I'll definitely try to remember to put the StreamYard link in the chat for Monday night. And it will more than likely be 8 p.m. Eastern time, like most of mine are through the week. I'd kind of like to do them later, but because Wes always says that you get more people the later you do these. But when I'm working, it just and this week work hasn't been that difficult, but I've just been wiped out this week. And I think I would be asleep before I got to the end of them of my stream if I, made them too late. Oh, that's fine, Texas. I was just asking for the few people that are still in here if there's any actors or actresses, and they don't have to be horror actors and actresses or people that have only been in horror movies. But if there are any that you would like me to do streams on, I will take any and all into consideration. Yeah, I'm still, every time we switch back and forth, it takes me a little bit to get used to the time change. So I totally get that about it being confusing. Um, So, oh goodness, guys. It's a good thing I only have to work part of the day tomorrow because, like I said, I've just been really wiped out. But I love, absolutely love doing these streams, and I don't like to not do them unless, I'm just bedridden or just so tired I can't hold my head up. And Bliss, what you saying? Snow shoveling? The snow is really heavy. Woo. Yeah, that you get a workout in when you're shoveling snow. Ah, that is a good idea, Texas. You say you think Ken 4A would be good? Yeah, definitely. I'll have to keep that one in my wheelhouse, and maybe you'll join me on the stream when I do a Ken 4A one. Would you consider that, Texas? Or are you out of the game as far as coming on streams now? But I was trying to think if there was anything. Um, yeah, he did come up with a good one, Blissful. I was trying to think if there. Oops. Maybe I'll set that over there before I just knock that thing over. I am so clumsy. Um, but like I was going to say, I'm trying to think if there was anything that I wanted to bring up that I didn't want to forget to tell anybody, and I can't think of anything. So you say you'll make him. Texas, you say, sure, I'd do it. I'd do one anytime. Okay, cool. I'd love to have you on. When I get ready to do that, you'll be the first one I ask about it. But, I always say, and I've said this, over and over again, that, if for one thing, if this idiot can get on here and do these live streams and make them semi entertaining, then you guys who are much more knowledgeable than me and much more professional than me, if you were to come on here, it would be amazing. Um, because number one, people wouldn't just have to watch my dumb ass up here talking about stuff, and they're probably these people that are like these I keep calling them drive-by viewers, but that's what I think of. People just kind of cruising YouTube, seeing who's live, seeing what the people that are live are doing, and they kind of pop in and out of people's streams when if it doesn't seem interesting. Yeah, I can't begrudge them that. Um, but I know that and I'm not fishing for compliments. I'm not having any false humility or anything like that. Um, I'm just saying, I know for a fact that I'm not the most entertaining person in the world. Um, there's a lot of more people or a lot of people that have been in the game a lot longer, the entertainment game, a lot longer than I have been, including CK and Uncle Bill. They've been in the game a long time. They've got their stick down pat, and they're professional. Um, and I haven't made it there yet. And I may never be able to do that. But I just like to get on here and hang out with you guys and just talk about movies or actors and actresses or whatever, and maybe vent a little here and there, um, because it really improves my mental health. So I'm a little bit selfish. I do these sometimes to make myself feel better. And if I'm able to entertain somebody in the process, then that's just a bonus. Um, Texas says, stop. Thank you, Blissful. Thank you, Texas. Blissful says, Damien, you're amazing. Texas, you say I had a rant I want to discuss with you. You mean me or you mean Blissful? Because Blissful says, "Oh no, what rant?" But oh goodness. So if you wanted to bring up a rant, unless it was a private thing between you and Blissful, you're welcome to bring it up, Texas. Oh, with me? Okay. Um, oh, well, by all means, mention it. Blissful says, if it's me, I wasn't there and I didn't do it. Um, so did you want to discuss it with me now, Texas, or was this something that you kind of wanted to do a chat about? Because feel free to, put it out there if you want to talk about it here. Not about you though. Okay. I'm relieved at that. Oh. Yeah, I have loads of time, especially since I got done with this stream earlier. Like I said, if you want to bring it up here, that is perfectly fine with me. Oh, I just don't know why I'm so tired. Might just be a woman thing. Blissful probably understands that. Oh, um, Texas, you say, well, MC, not going to mention his name, but you should know his initials. Oh, gotcha. Yes, yes, I do. So I'm assuming, Texas, that you have a rant about this person. Sorry, I'm pausing, guys. I'm just like, I guess believe it or not, I've run out of stuff to say. Uh, but I definitely want to hear what Texas has to say. So I do apologize for my little pauses in here. I'm just kind of scanning through here to make sure I didn't miss anybody's chat messages. I don't know if Kane is still in here or not. Texas, you say he did this live talking about the Ray Dennis Steckler box set. So he just went on about how it was pretty much complete shit and how worthless RDS was as a director. Oh, really? I I don't think this is just my take on Ray Dennis Steckler. I don't think he was, worthless or anything. Um, he some of his stuff, excuse me, was, I don't know, maybe a little dry, I guess. Might be the way I put it, but I definitely wouldn't. I wouldn't say that that box set was complete shit, and I definitely wouldn't say that Ray Dennis Steckler is worthless as a director or was worthless as a director. You know, people like what they like. You know, look at me and the stuff that I like, as far as you know, Final Exam, Terror on Tour, stuff that the Dead Pit Boys kid me about incessantly, and I don't mind. I mean, I know it's all in good fun and all that, but um, so Texas, I'm kind of, I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm kind of taken from what you are saying that you disagree with that statement about Ray Dennis Steckler, or maybe thought that this person was going too far in their dislike of Ray Dennis Steckler and his movies. Because to be totally honest, guys, I have found very few things cinema wise in my life that I could consider unwatchable. And Ray Dennis Steckler movies are not unwatchable. You know, I watched the Trooper. Um, what was the other title of that? Help me out with this, Texas. What was the other title for the Trooper? Was it Bloodshot? Was that the other title? And you know, I found that a little bit entertaining. Uh, Carolyn Brandt, wasn't that Ray Dennis Steckler's wife at one time? Like he had her like I didn't think she was that good of an actress, to be honest. But the movies themselves, even with her in them, had a, you know, I know you're not really asking for my opinion about this, but um, had a sort of charm to them, a very low budget level of charm that I could see some people liking. And again, I don't hate them. I don't hate any of his movies. Um, I'm not really interested in buying the box set, but you know, I'm not going to begrudge anybody that wants to buy it, because there's probably things that I buy that other people are like, what the hell? Casey, you say when he usually is all like, whatever anybody likes, what they like. So I was pretty pissed off, especially since he borrows stuff from people and then mails it back with stickers or some shit. Um, because he's too cheap to buy it himself. Okay, yeah, it was Bloodshot. Gotcha. I'm trying to remember if I've seen Thrill Killers. It seems like I may have, but I'm not 100%. I need to seek that one out and just make sure that I see it. Yeah, I mean, you know how you said about this one person, he's too cheap to buy stuff himself. Uh, yeah, I mean, I have, you know, I'm not going to mention names, but I have friends that are like that, that they kind of, I'm not saying they're gloating, but they're in the know or in these inner circles where they get stuff for free. And, you know, it seems like sometimes they shit all over half of it. Uh, but then they'll kind of, you know, "Ooh, look what I got for free, guys, you know, look what I got for free." So yeah, I get that kind of sentiment. Casey say Incredibly Strange Creatures is great too. I don't think I've seen that one. I've heard the title, but Yeah, Texas, I totally get that. And some of the people that do these types of things I consider them friends, but I don't really understand, somebody getting all this free stuff. And I know everything can't be grade A 100% awesome movies, especially when, maybe you're a person that does reviews for things and people are sending you stuff left and right. But my personal thought is be a little bit more gracious. Um, don't, brag about all this free stuff you're getting and then turn around and take a big dump all over most of it that you're getting. Um, Tasty, you say, I've liked him for years, so I guess I'm biased. But I was just like, what the fuck? Right. Um, Texas, I hope you felt like you were able to express your rant, because I don't want to feel like I'm cutting you off or anything. But I guess I was going to take this opportunity, since I didn't talk as long about the John Cusack movies tonight, um, of getting off here a little bit earlier and getting a little rest. But if you want to talk about this a little bit more when I do another stream. Oh, so you say I'm not? I hope not, because I don't want to do that. I don't want to ever make anybody feel like, oh, well, Dana's cut me off. Piss off on her or piss on her. So I'm glad you didn't feel that way. But I do think I'm going to call it a night, even though we jumped up to 6 people now. Um, People would probably start coming in. But I didn't know how long it was going to take me to go through those last few movies. Um, but I want to thank Texas and Blissful and Kane for stopping in. Anybody that was watching and wasn't necessarily chatting, I want to thank you as well, because not everybody has to chat. I've said that before. I'll keep on saying it. Um, Texas, you said, no, I've been waiting to get this out because I knew you'd understand. Oh yeah, I that's something I always try to do, because that is what I want from other people, is to have a sympathetic, uh, non-judgmental ear. And I think that's what a lot of people want. They just want you to listen to them or read what they're putting up in the chat. Um, and you know be even if you don't agree with everything the other person was saying. In this case, I did agree with everything that Texas was saying, but I think that every human being has, or yeah, the majority of human beings have this need to have a connection with other people who are sympathetic to what they're saying. You don't want to feel like everything you're saying, people are around you going, "Ah, you're crazy. That's stupid. That's dumb." You know, that just makes people feel bad. Oh, thank you, Blissful. I appreciate that. I mean, the nice things that you and Texas and some of you other guys and gals that come in here on a regular basis, all of these things, I take it all in, because I've said this before, I'll say it again, I'll keep on saying it. I am not a person with low self-esteem. I am a person with zero self-esteem. So, I'm not saying I crave attention or anything, but these little nice things that you guys say here and there really makes me feel good and makes me feel like I'm doing something worthwhile. And that's another reason why I want to keep doing these. Even sometimes when I don't feel the greatest. Like I've been worn out this week, but I've done a stream every day this week or every night this week. And it's because I love doing them. But that's what you say. If he had talked to me about it, I'd be like, I like blue. uh, Texas, you say you loved all three parts. Well, I appreciate that, Texas. Blue, so you say I have so many movies I want to watch now. Yeah, me too. Me too. Blue, so you say you're the same way and you understand. Well, that means a lot to me as well. So I want to again remind you guys, even people that may be watching this later, that I will be on the watch along or commentary, whatever you want to call it, for Leprechaun tomorrow night, starting at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, with the Dead Pit Boys and some of the other Dead Pit community members. Having I'm sure, a hell of a good time. So I hope a lot of you will come over there for that. And then I hope people will join me for the watch along I'm doing on my own for after midnight, Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And then if I can make sure that I can get Kelly on here with me, and others are welcome to join in as well, I will be doing a Hitchcock stream Monday starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So again, Texas, Blissful, Kane, anybody else that was watching, not necessarily chatting, for those of you that will watch this later, thank you all so much. This really means a lot to me, and I love providing some form of entertainment to all of you guys. So with all that being said, I'm going to skedaddle on out of here for the night, and I will see everyone on the flip side. Y'all have a good night now.